The Chinese president has indicated in the past, though, that he'd be looking to make a move on Taiwan in the year 2027. Donald Trump would still be US president then. Joining us now is political analyst Joe Siracusa. So China is a master of the long game, and I think the President Trump just referred to that. Might it just have to wait a little longer, Joe?
Well, yeah, look, China promised Richard Nixon in February 1972 that it wasn't going to invade Taiwan. The deal's been set since that time. I mean, Nixon and Mao took it off the table. The deal was that Taiwan is part of China, and the United States recognizes that. And as long as the Chinese do not declare independence, they could have their own money, their own Navy, Air Force medals. They could do whatever they want. They just can't present a staging area for an attack on the mainland. So I believe that's true. I also think that President Xi is sort of correct about what he's saying. You know, no one wants to fool around with Trump right now. He actually looks like he wants to do something. Joe Biden used to threaten China from time to time, but Joe Biden never dropped a bunch of bombs on Iran either. I mean, Trump actually puts his money where his mouth is. So, you know, I think that's quite a demonstration. Yeah,
look, I mean, the progressive media in the States, I see, I mean, they've been giving Donald Trump a hard time, particularly over his meeting with Vladimir Putin over the weekend. But you got to say he's at least got the conversation going. And there does now appear to be momentum with all these European leaders coming into the White House tomorrow for round 2 at the Oval Office. How do you expect that to go?
Well, look, Pete, I've been a diplomatic historian all my life, and Donald Trump never looked more presidential than he did in Alaska. He treated Vladimir Putin like a human being, gave him the red carpet treatment. He pretty much got out of him what he wanted to, and that was a commitment to end this war. And then he invited, or Zelensky invited himself probably to Washington and wanted to look this thing over. Zelensky just wants to make sure he has a job on Tuesday. And, of course, the Europeans that went over there, you know, they're very anxious, not for Zelensky, Pete. They're anxious for themselves. I mean, what Donald Trump proved when he went to Alaska was that he could take or leave NATO. He doesn't need them to move around the world and do what he wants to do. So, you know, they're not really coming to comfort or support Zelensky. They go in there to make sure they've got a job, because they're starting to look irrelevant. And Pete, politicians, whether they're Australian, Chinese, American, or European, nobody can afford to look irrelevant. I mean, they have to look like they're doing something.
Well, speaking of irrelevant, and a lot of people will think that James Comey, the former FBI director, fits certainly in that category. And this morning he was preaching mindfulness, courtesy of Taylor Swift. I just want to run this by you, Joe, courtesy of Comey's Substack.
While our elderly makeup-covered president is posting about whether Taylor Swift is still hot and declaring that he can't stand her, what's she doing? Not giving the jerks power over her mind. She said something about dealing with internet trolls that stuck with me. Think of your energy as if it's expensive, she said, as if it's like a luxury item.
A bit of kumbaya there from the former FBI director, who was only leading the FBI for 4 years, and now he's channeling Taylor Swift. It's odd, Joe.
Well, you know, the fact that the director of the FBI has his own Substack now shows you what his the kind of job market he's moving in. Can't get a job. No one wants to hire him. Look, Taylor Swift's a lovely woman, and I'm sure she has great music. But, you know, when I want a little bit of peace and quiet, I'll settle for Johnny Cash or Willie Nelson. I don't need Taylor Swift.
That's good. Joe Siracusa, good to see you on Monday morning as always. We'll see you again next week.